Good. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, great African students, and welcome to this week's session in the ongoing African Students Leadership Academy. My name is Remy Chukwunyere. I'm the Executive Director of the Gumba Center for Leadership Development in Africa. Today, we have another special and wonderful mentor in our midst. I'm talking about Mr. Marc Jarrett, a UK-based professional networker. He's been endorsed by Meta, that's former Facebook, and sorry, the owners of Facebook, and recognized as a master connector by the US Presidential Service Center. He's the recipient of the first ever Legacy Service Award, the Networker of the Year Award from Speakers and Leaders. He's the Businessman of the Year Award recipient from Vietnam International Awards and Global Award for the Empowered Men from the Institute of Global Professionals. Mr. Jarrett spent most of his career in the telecommunications sector and was the first to market with mobile ringtones and logos. And now he focuses on virtual networking and facilitating introductions. His mission is to help people grow their networks and introduce them to the kind of people that they need to meet and exceed their business goals. He fosters not only the interaction between people around the world, but has the ability to facilitate collaborations and business deals among professionals. So, great African students, join me and welcome our mentor for today's session, Marc Jarrett, the super connector from the United Kingdom.
Thank you
You're
very
welcome,
much for
sir.
having me. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Very good. So, Marc Jarrett, like I told you before, before you students from different countries for Africa and here in Nigeria. So we gather them together because we understand. Okay, like I said before during the introduction of this program, the bed of Africa's development is bad leadership. Bad leadership. That's why we are not able to manage the huge resources, both natural and human, that God bless us with. So we are doing our best at the Goomba Leadership Center to break these jinx and be able to, expose our young people to what they should know before they grow into adulthood, and leave school, to begin to live their lives, after school. So this is one of the reasons why we set up the African Students Leadership Academy. Before today, we have had other mentors from different professional and areas of life who have been with them, engage them in different sectors, like I said, and different topics. So this afternoon is your turn to speak to them about the power of networking, and then share your experiences over the years with the youths from Africa. So at this juncture, I want to hand over to you, Marc Jarrett, to do what you know how best to do. Thank you and God bless you. Over to you, sir.
So, yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. And it's such an important subject because networking remains an inherent part of the human condition. We are all hardwired to network and grow our tribes. It's in our DNA. We are social animals. And I've been networking all my life. I'm just one of these people that enjoys connecting human beings. And I spent most of my career in telecoms. I now operate more than 800 WhatsApp groups full of some of the world's leading thought leaders and entrepreneurs. And I've created an environment where they feel safe to engage, and then the business comes later. So I'm all about relationship building. And at the end of the day, life is all about relationships with our partner, our family, our friends, and human beings in general. And the reason I've chosen WhatsApp as my primary communications tool is because 3 billion people use WhatsApp. It's ubiquitous here in Europe. in India, in Brazil. Practically everyone uses WhatsApp. Ironically, there's one country that doesn't use WhatsApp so much, and that's the United States of America. WhatsApp was born there, and it was acquired by Meta a few years back, and practically everyone uses WhatsApp in the countries I just alluded to, and it's a very, very powerful way of connecting people. So what I do is create mini WhatsApp groups to make introductions, but most of the networking that I do is in the networking groups, and each group has got its own theme. So that might be education or biotech or automotive, construction, fashion, music. Each industry has got its own WhatsApp group. And I've also got 84 country specific groups, which I've co-created with trustworthy individuals who are well connected in their country. And this way, I can really expedite the process of helping people expand internationally very quickly. My ethos is something called open, random, and supportive. It's the antithesis of corporate thinking. So corporates tend to be quite closed and secretive. I'm the opposite. I encourage people in my network to share their triumphs, obviously, but also their trauma. We're all human beings, and authenticity is important to me. Personally, I feel that the system is skewed against women, and if you're a black woman, even more so. Only 3% of venture capitalists are women, so several of my groups are aimed at women, and I salute women who are making waves in a man's world. So my 3 mentees are all young black women, and one of them has just been told she's going to become Africa's first astronaut. So I taught her how to use LinkedIn a few years back. And LinkedIn plays a key role in what I do, because LinkedIn is a very powerful information tool, but it's not such a good communications tool. Whereas WhatsApp is the precise opposite. So LinkedIn and WhatsApp really complement each other very well. And I would encourage you all to, if you haven't already got one, to create a LinkedIn profile. It's free, and it will serve as a template for your professional networking journey throughout the course of your lifetime. The networking in WhatsApp groups isn't ideal. It's random. It's chaotic. I've never claimed that they're the panacea to networking. I see them as a kind of halfway house between LinkedIn and places like Remo or Zoom or Jitsi, where we are now, and any other video conferencing platform. The key thing to networking to remember is that it's not about you, it's about them. It's about serving others. Networking is like opening a bank account. You cannot make a withdrawal until you've made a deposit. So if ever you join a WhatsApp group to network, introduce yourself, outlining who you are, what you do, and who you would like to meet, and take an interest in other people. Welcome other people when they join a group, and you will find that your LinkedIn will grow exponentially if you're in many WhatsApp groups. So that's, in broad terms, what I do. I connect human beings, and I surround myself with some of the world's best minds. and I connect them. But diversity and inclusion is important to me. So, for example, in one of my groups, I've got one of the world's leading economists. But in that group, I've also got a guy who lives called Fidel. He lives in a refugee camp in Africa, and he doesn't have the things that a lot of people in the West take for granted. You know, we take sanitation and electricity and things like that. We take that for granted, but 2 billion people on the planet don't have access to a toilet. So I think we should live in gratitude for what we have, and I'm very I feel very strongly about helping young people. Several young people have found work in my network because networking remains the best way to find work. You know, if you go into indeed.com or LinkedIn jobs, you're competing with hundreds, if not thousands, of other people for the same position. If you network intelligently and build up your network, you'll find that the best jobs are actually unadvertised. Yeah, so build those relationships, and it could be that your next role will be found through networking. A young lady joined my network a few months ago. She joined one of my groups, and in under a minute, in 50 seconds. But perhaps the best thing about virtual networking is the fact that it's totally global. You know, you've got the whole world to network with. Whereas if you go to a networking event in Nairobi in person, you're only going to meet people from that region. Whereas online, you will in a WhatsApp group, you're going to meet people from all over the world because it's a global product. So that's the outline, and I'm curious to learn what you're all studying and what you're up to, and to take any questions. Have I stunned you all into silence?
Okay, I think some people have questions already. Um, is it favor? Favor, if you have a question, can you bring that up immediately? Ask your question so that he can respond, please. Hello, Favor.
I notice there is a lady here, but I can't pronounce her first name. It's too long. Namesh.
Don't worry. Chidebere, you
Her,
raised your hand.
her last name is Ibeku. I can spell her last name, but I can pronounce her last name. Anyway, I salute you.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Good
Well
evening.
done. Well done. What are you studying?
Okay, currently I'm studying film production, but I did medical latex.
Okay, so I'm the president. I work with the British Film Festival, and I will introduce you to Rosita. She runs that, and lots of movie production companies. So they would be useful introduction for you.
Wow, thank you very much, sir.
Here to
Thank
serve.
you. Thank
Okay,
you.
so Massive Tupu, you have to connect with me, DM me so that I can connect you to Marc Jarrett directly, like he promised.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, Chinedu, you have a question. Chinedu, go ahead. How can we create an engaging conversation with someone that will lead to a good network? Is that your question? Okay, Mr. Mark, can you take that question from Chinedu? How can we create an engaging conversation with someone that will lead to a good a good network? That's the question there.
Okay, sorry, is the question in the text?
Yeah, in the comment section. In the comment section, yes.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, to answer your question is talk about them. Everyone's interested in themselves, and when another person takes an interest in them, they will take an interest in you. Does that answer your question?
Okay. Yeah, I think that's correct. Okay. Okay, that's correct. There's another question from Telma. Please, how can I join a network of people in cybersecurity field to practice hand-on? Yeah, I think. Can you see that? How can I
Yeah.
join?
So one of my WhatsApp groups is called GDPR and cybersecurity. So it's full of cybersecurity people. So you belong in that group, and then you can network with the people in that group. And who knows, maybe one of them will hire you.
Okay. So, Telma, is that okay with you? If you want to join such people in that group,
Please, can you tell us if there are any limitations to connection with an individual online? Well, WhatsApp groups are hidden. They belong to something called
Yes, sir,
dark.
it's okay by me, sir.
I'm sorry.
I said it's okay by me, sir. Thank you. Good evening, sir.
Oh, good evening. Um, in the quest for
if
obtaining
there are,
fully funded fellowships, how would networking be of help? Well, it's all about human connections and building up trust and relationships. As I said, life is all about relationships, but you have to build up the trust with the people first. But because most of my network know me, they trust me. So if I say to them, you've got to meet Ibrahim, for example, they'll probably say, oh, I'd love to meet him because the trust is already there.
good, good. Okay, Madam Omu, please, can you ask your question?
Okay, good evening. Thank you very much, Mark. Mine is both a question and a comment, and it's more for clarity purposes. So there's a misconception amongst people generally, and I say this from having been a member of BNI for over 10 years. People assume that when networking is about selling or about getting jobs, which at the end of the day is. So, what happens is when they find themselves in networking environments like your WhatsApp group, they immediately want to ask as against giving. And like some of the questions they've asked about building relationships and questions to ask, and like you rightfully pointed out, introducing yourself and offering your services. I'd like for you to throw more light on the aspect of giving, knowing fully well that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So people don't really want to know all the stuff you know and all your qualifications until you show that you really care. In other words, ask them about themselves, their business, what they do, and get to know them, and then build the relationship and the trust. So I'd like for you to speak on that so that we don't join these WhatsApp groups and end up shooting ourselves in the foot.
So there's a lady in my network called Tracy. She's very, very well connected. She lives in Wales, which belongs to the United Kingdom. And she's got a wonderful story where she used to be employed, and her employer said, I want you to go out and network more to sell photocopying machines. So she went to all these networking events and she was handing out her business cards and selling. And then she met a wise old man who told her, no, you don't do that. Take an interest in other people she reverse engineered it all, and she changed her attitude, and that's how she started turning up. And then that year she built $100,000 in new pounds in new business, just by making by changing her attitude to the one that you described, that BNI, people that go to BNI, by the way, is the world's largest networking organization. But their speciality are real world networking events, usually at 7 o'clock in the morning. And they're very hyper local. I prefer the globality of virtual networking. But yeah, I take on board your point. Most people think of networking in that way. And for about 1 in 5 people, networking scares them. It's a bit like public speaking. They just don't enjoy networking. They're more than happy to have a one-to-one, but they don't enjoy the process of getting to a one-to-one through networking. By the way, there's something called Lunch Club, which is free, and it's invite only. When you are 18 or over, I'm happy to send you an invite link to that, and the same to my WhatsApp groups. I don't allow anyone under 18 in my groups, but if you're 18 and over, go to virtualpowernetworking.com. That's my site, and there you will see the range of services. Well, at the moment you will just see one service, and that's access to my WhatsApp groups. But any day now I'm going to be introducing a range of new services, including a training course to train people how to network virtually, because a lot of people don't know what virtual business networking is, and they don't know how to start. So I can teach them. I'm also going to be doing a course, a mastermind, just by putting great minds into one room. We meet once a week. I'm going to be doing a corporate package aimed at companies that want to expand internationally. That's a 1-year program. But for students like yourself, I'm going to offer it a very, very small price, because I want you all to learn and benefit from networking at an early age. It's very important that you grow your networks, and you've probably heard the expression, your network is your net worth. Over time that will become true, and I'll be happy to help you all. Thank you.
Okay. Who else has a question? Chinonso, are you still there? Your hand is still up. If you have a question, can you bring that up now? Okay, I think before that, okay, Mary, go ahead. Engineer Mary, you have a question.
Enga, she's got a question. And it's coming up. She's about to write. Look, she's just written. She has a question.
Okay, Mary. Yeah, Mary, go ahead. Engineer Mary, go ahead.
She's teasing us, or is it he? Is Enga a man or a woman?
Okay. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Mark. It's a female. I'm an engineer. Thank you. So, Mark, thank you so much. In fact, there is one major takeout I took out from the meeting. It's if you want someone to be interested in you, first and foremost, do something that speaks more to them. Maybe they've attended programs, reshare it on your LinkedIn page. And I couldn't agree less with how well you have spoken about LinkedIn. So far, I've grown in engineering, starting from technical sales as my journey, but transitioning into renewable energy, I have noticed that how far I had come was dependent on the 2 years networking that has helped me thus far to be able to network between 1 or 2 international organizations and consult for them. And I'm also happy to have a one-on-one with you, Mark, to see if there are groups in renewable energy space, green energy and energy transition that I could join and broaden my horizons. Thank you so much, Mark.
Yes, I've got groups for all of those things, and I often co-create groups that revolve around members of my network work. So I will often ask them, if I was to create a WhatsApp group that revolves around you and your work, what would I call it? I wait for the answer, I create the group, and that group then becomes their funnel. Yeah. So when they join my groups, I will then say, if anyone would like to meet Enga and learn more about her work, please join that group. And then anyone that joins that group is a red hot lead. Otherwise, they wouldn't ask to join the group. Does that make sense?
Very well, Mark. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, God willing, we'll be connected on WhatsApp very soon. And you sound like you're over 18, are you?
Yes, I'm over 18.
Great. Well,
Yeah, I'm over 18.
get ready to make some utterly extraordinary human beings.
Thank you so much, Mark.
You're welcome.
That was a star, not my. Okay, any other question? Any other question?
Yeah, what you should do is create a WhatsApp group of your community. Or have you already got one?
Okay. Okay, let me answer Paul. Paul, we have a number of groups, that connect young people, women, startup founders, and the like. So DM me after now so that I can find where you're interested in and then connect you with them. Thank you so much. Ebeku, you still have a question? Masichuku, you have a question? Go ahead, please. Mercy, go ahead. No, you are muted. Go ahead. Okay.
Hello, good evening, sir. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. I have First of all, I want to appreciate you, sir, for organizing this training. It's really I just got to know about it this evening and I said to join. So I really appreciate. Thank you, Mr. Mark. Thank you. Okay, you talked about social networking. There are some of us that are also good with social media, finding it difficult. I've been trying to build. I started up a company. I've been trying to build it up, and it's not been easy. So how do we go about it? Just earlier today, I was thinking of hiring a social media manager for that. Networking is not really my thing, but it's something I know it's important. So my question is how how do I go about it?
Mr. Mark, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah,
Okay, go
sorry.
ahead.
So there are so many social media platforms out there. I would suggest sticking to just one, and that's LinkedIn, because it is the world's only professional social media platform. If you were to be involved in something like art or fashion, then Instagram makes sense because Instagram is very visual. But if you want to build a business, if you're a business person, then stick to just LinkedIn and I will help you grow your LinkedIn profile for you.
Okay. Mercy Chukwu, I'm sure you got that. If you are a fashion person or you are doing business in the fashion sector, it's better you go on Instagram to do that. But if you are doing other businesses, you want to be a professional, you go to LinkedIn. That's what he just said. Then let me read out the question from
Okay, but
okay,
one more thing to the lovely lady.
go ahead.
If you end up getting hired through my network and a great salary, yeah, I want you to take me out for a nice meal. That's the commission. Okay.
Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Um, Aman Jamal, in networking, people say you should connect with those you can learn from. But as someone from a lower class wanting to improve my finances and experiences, I find it hard to connect with successful people who may not see value in connecting with me. How can I overcome this and build um, okay, and build connections with those at the top? Did you get that?
Yes. Here in the UK, there's a big class system. A man has obviously got an issue with his class. I, you know, I'm able to speak with captains of industry or of the road sweeper. I don't care. I've inherited that track from my parents. They didn't give a damn whether you're young, old, black or white. They didn't give, and I'm the same. If you can try and adopt that kind of attitude and forget about your background, and it will make you feel maybe less inhibited. Just treat them like humans, and just take an interest in them, and it will be fine. And Ahu, the upcoming biochemist, how can I connect with a network of biochemists to explore my career? Well, the answer to that question is you join my WhatsApp group. That's well, no, you just inspired a WhatsApp group called Bionic Biochemists. Okay. And I will then invite people that have an interest in biochemistry to it. And then some of those might work in large corporations, which might end up hiring you. Who knows? Does that answer your question?
Okay, that's correct. Thank you so much. Mary, you say you have another question, so go ahead now. Hello, Mary, are you there?
Okay, yes, I'm here. Sorry, I think it's the network. I would want to quickly buttress on the question from the other person, and I understand what he means. Now, I actually face that to trying to grow through the ladder, just to be able to speak to people who you admire that are in places or that have, that are doing something great in that space. And one thing I knew I had to do back door was to make sure that even before I go for any meeting, any networking, I knew that I had to do a lot of reading. Now there is a way, when you're knowledgeable about something, it just brings you out. We're at a table where CEOs are talking, management is talking. I might not know everything they may be saying, but I know that maybe as regards maybe hydro, for example, I'm using a case study of small hydro. I know that okay, there are one or two rivers or hydro analysis that I had read about, and I could just chip it in and say, okay, in the event you have a site like this, how do you do? What do you think? Or do you think this river that we feel has this potential, is it enough for it to be viable to deploy hydro? Now that draws the attention to me. Now, for the fact that I just tip in something that might just be the only thing I know, but I've been able to draw the attention of the CEOs or one or two people there, and I can now take it further from there. And the next will be that okay, so you're doing a very valuable job as regards high small hydros and training. Would you mind a hands-on training or an internship with you just to have that hands-on knowledge? And before you know what is happening, he's happy to even let out his direct number. I understand perfectly, especially when you come into a space and there are people there already and you feel lost. But the best you can do is keep reading, keep evolving, keep knowing things. That makes you, stand out in whatever you are doing. If there is a space you want to understand energy transition, it hasn't stopped me from reading what are the different type of renewable energy sources, what are the potentials, what are even as relates to gender impact assessment. So I'm around that table anywhere within the renewable energy sector. I have something to say. So you, however you see it, that class will always play, to be honest. There are places where you go for meetings, you're somewhere and the CEOs are there. But what brings you from the table of the other side to the other side is what you have to contribute. Even when they say, do you have any other question? When they see you have asked an intelligent question, someone may just be interested in you and say, okay, fine. I think I see you as a stuff I can mentor. Take my direct line and let's pick up conversations from there. So it is very important as young people. We cannot, you see, the more you read, the more you know, and that's just the truth. You feel you have known enough only to just find that there is a new dimension to this thing again. And you'll be like, I never knew there was something like this here. I need to know more. So keep wanting to know more to be a better person. Money comes with value. The more value you have to yourself, money directly comes in. That's just how it works. Thank you.
Wow.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mary, for that contribution. Okay. Okay. I have questions from Chidebere and Oyefeso. I think they are the same. Chidebere is saying he's an auxiliary nurse. He wants to explore. Okay, he wants to explore his career. Then how can he connect with people who are in the same sector? The same for Oyefeso. How can I connect to nurses? I'm a student. Oh, the same Meso again. Who's this again? Meso, I would also love to connect with other nurses. Fantastic. We have nurses here. So what do you have to say, Mr. Mark?
Yeah, so I'm actually in touch with several nurses who are doing it the other way round. Instead of entering the nursing profession, they want to leave it. Because if you've been nursing for 20 or 30 years, it's understandable that sometimes people want to have a change in career. So I can help them. So yeah, I do know nurses I can connect you to. And what Mary said was very right. If you can position yourself as a thought leader, as an expert in anything, then write a thought leadership piece as a LinkedIn article, not a post, an article, and then people will come to you. And LinkedIn articles are great because they are evergreen and they support links to your website if you have one. All right, lovely to meet you all here. Fantastic. Please, I have a LinkedIn account since last